Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Scott, I'm an expat and I've been travelling around now for the last 4 years. Not every week, but myself and my wife have lived in France, we've lived in Portugal, Ireland, England, and we now have settled permanently in Spain. And we've been here now coming up to 10 months in Granada, but we've actually been in Spain over a year and a half. So I do videos to help you guys, hopefully to help you have a nice, easier lifestyle. So let's just jump in. Please subscribe to the video as well, don't forget, and press the little bell, just because we're going to post videos all the time with extra hacks about money and finance and anything that we've discovered. Just a caveat, I'm not an expert, okay? I'm just somebody, normal guy, who's discovered these things, and usually that's the best way. You get it from the horse's mouth and it's current, okay? So banking in Spain nearly drove us mad. You've got hidden fees, transfers that are slow, waiting weeks. And if you're already here or you're moving to Spain, I'm going to save you a lot of frustration, okay? Because there's a better way to handle your money. And no, it isn't sponsored, okay? There's a couple of affiliate links with the things that we know that work, but you know, there's nothing, I'm not getting paid by any of the banks to do this, okay? Okay, so when we first moved to Spain, one of the biggest things we found was we'd open a bank account. Once you've gone through the whole rigmarole, like anything in the bureaucracy of Spain with the documents, etc., and then you start getting, in the case of BBVA, notifications on the app, emails all the time for months, saying, oh, you know, we're going to close your account, we need this extra documentation. You then send them the documentation, and you get more notifications. No, that isn't good enough, you need something else. And it just drove us crazy, absolutely crazy. And then the panic set in. We're like, oh my God, we've got all this money from a sale of our house sitting there. If it gets frozen, how are we going to complete the sale of a house? So bear that in mind, okay? Have a backup account, whether it's in your own country where you come from. That's my first tip. Have a backup one. I have one that sounds there in Portugal, and I keep it there. Keep about 10 grand in there, whatever it may be, as a backup if something ever happened with the banks, because you never know. Spanish banks. Okay, now the other thing, so you get monthly account fees, there's maintenance charges, appointments for everything, okay? I remember one time waiting nearly 2 weeks just to get a debit card activated, and that's when I started looking at alternatives, okay? So one of the things we use a lot of is Wise, okay? There's a link in the description. If you click on that, you can open a free account. It doesn't cost you anything, okay? So someone actually mentioned to us, a friend of ours who's an expat, said, why don't you use Wise? So we use it for sending money abroad. You get a Spanish IBAN, you can get a debit card, and it's in multi-currency, okay? So setup took about 5 minutes on the phone, so there's no appointments, no forms, no waiting, which is what it's like with a normal bank. So why we switched? Well, you get instant transfers, the exchange rates are real and current time, multi-currency, obviously the Spanish IBAN, etc., okay? I compared Wise with some of the old Spanish bank accounts, and you're saving somewhere between 200 and 300 euros a year in fees and conversion costs, sometimes more. It's obvious, you know, so why not have it, okay? If you're living in Spain, Wise makes sense because, or even if you just spend a few months here, okay, Wise makes sense 90% of most people, okay? Moving money from countries, use Wise, paying rental bills, use Wise, travelling back and forth from Spain, UK and Ireland, etc. Honestly, the only thing that Wise isn't good for is mortgages and credit, okay? For that, you still need a real bank. And this is my next tip. When you go to where you're moving to, have a look around your area. Don't make the mistake we did. We joined BBVA in a different town before we came here. We were already their customers. Great app, by the way. And we got here and there's no bank in the local village. They've got a Santander, a Kexa, etc. So we have to travel 15-20 minutes to the bank if we need to, and you will have to do that. So make sure you go with a bank that's in your area. I know it's common sense, but you know, we didn't do it. Just to be clear, I'm not saying Spanish banks are all bad, okay? They're just slow, overly traditional, and not built for modern expat life, okay? Wise on the other hand is. If you want to try Wise, like I said, there's a link below in the description. It's a referral link, it doesn't cost you anything. and it helps support the channel. And if you've got any experience or yourselves, try and help the channel and the community as the subscribers go up. Post them in the comments below, okay? We'll be doing 2 or 3 videos a week, so anything to do with finance. I'll throw in some bureaucracy as well, you know, tax office, because we're going through that ourselves, but it's mainly finance hack and things on how we survive and live here, and tips and tricks that we've learned to save you costs, etc. Okay, so listen, thanks for listening. Again, please subscribe to the channel, and looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.